got a Rotary moment for us.
Today's Rotary moment is about China. The first club that was formed in China was formed in Shanghai in 1919. And Rotary, believe it or not, flourished in China. It grew to 33 clubs. But in 1949, that came to a halt. And in 1952, they disbanded all the clubs. And believe it or not, most of the Rotarians left the country. Believe it or not, they actually left. Well, anyway, we're going to fast forward this thing to 2016. In the past 12 months, Rotary has formed 9 new Rotary clubs, 2 Rotary clubs, and 4 Interact clubs. Folks, Rotary is flourishing in China once again, and I'm very thankful for that. In my opinion, the governments of China and the United States are not going to be able to do very much for the relationships between these two countries. But I believe that Rotary will be a good, maybe a great start to bring these two countries back together and solve all these many problems we've got. So y'all be on the lookout for it. Rotary's the answer. Thank you.
So now we're going to move to our program. Bill, I lost you somewhere. Yeah, turn it over to you. You can introduce.
All right.
And I'll put out of the way.
I'm here today to primarily introduce our Scoutmaster. But in the meantime, before I turn it over to him, I wanted to mention 2 things. First of all, there are merit badge books stuck in the blue buckets on the table, and I'd welcome you to just pick one up and glance through it sometime. Also, in those books and also scattered on the table are a list of 136 merit badges. Troop 96 is always looking for merit badge counselors. If you look on that list, I know you'll see several things probably that you have some sort of interest in or could do. You don't have to be, if it's aviation, you don't have to be a pilot, although that helps. And if you're doing the welding merit badge like I do, I have no certifications in welding. I just have several welders, and I've done it a lot during my life, and so I do a welding merit badge. Some of these slides up here show some of my kids that I've carried through the welding or metalworking. So please look at that and get with me sometime if you'd be interested in doing a merit badge. There's no big commitment to it. You can do it once and say, ooh, I don't like that, too much trouble. Or you can get into it, do it a lot. So it'd be great. I'd appreciate you taking a look at that list. Another thing is, April the 21st is going to be a Golden Eagle Award ceremony done for Ross Tollison in his honor. George Nunn is going to be the MC. There's going to be some other interesting speakers along the way. It's going to be a great program. And several of you have been contacted in various ways from other avenues, but I am hoping to get a Rotary table, a table for 8 made up of Rotarians. Rob, for example, is a table captain, and he's going to go pick some folks to sit at his table. And Ben Hulbert's agreed to be a table captain. He's going to get some people to fill up the table of 8. But if you're not contacted some other way, please let me know. I've got information here with me, and we'd love to have you. We need to have like representation from the chamber, the newspaper, wherever. We'd love to have you, involved in that. After saying that, let me mention that Kevin Hall's an attorney from Macon. He's also a private pilot, and like you, Billy Geralds, he's instrument rated. He's a real pilot, and he has the lucky situation that he gets to fly in his job. So every time I see him at a scout meeting, he just is about to leave or just got back from somewhere in the southeast or Florida somewhere. So he gets to do that. So that's a lot of fun. He's been our scoutmaster now for several years, about 4 or 5, I guess.
I'm losing track.
Yeah, something like that. Anyway, been a great scoutmaster, and so we love to have him. And there's about 5, I guess, assistant scoutmasters that work with him. I'm one of those, and there's several other real dedicated guys. So that's sort of the adult leadership. and to just give you a rough idea. So this is Kevin Hall, our Scoutmaster, and he's going to introduce these boys.
Thank you, Bill. And, I'd like to thank everybody for having us here today. I'm going to try not to bore you, but I'm going to go through some numbers. Tom asked me to kind of give a report on where the troop is. So I've kind of put these in some sort of order. I'm going to give you the number and then what it means. 3, the number of Eagle Scouts we've had since October of last year. 5, that's the number of Life Scouts that are currently working towards Eagle. 6, that's the number of patrols that we have. And for patrol, for those of you who may not know, patrol is a group of similar-aged young men who get together and interact, and they do stuff together, as much stuff as they can. 22 is the number of days and nights the boys spent camping last year. 48, that's the number of scouts that we currently have on our roster. That's kind of a floating number. We'll have some boys aging out. They get to 18, they're no longer a scout, and then we've almost constantly got boys joining. 75, that's the number of years that this troop has been in Perry. Last October, we celebrated our 75th anniversary. 94, can't read my own writing here. 94, that's the biggest number. That's how many Eagle Scouts this troop has had in the 75 years that we've been here in Perry. I think Mr. Tabor made Eagle in 1948. And lastly, 3,783. That's the number of feet above sea level of Springer Mountain, Georgia. And that's what our boys climbed about 2 weeks ago. Took them all day to do that, but they got there, every one of them. Tonight, I'm used to having meetings at night. We meet at 7 p.m. every Monday night at Perry United Methodist Church in downtown Perry. They're gracious enough to let us use their youth center. Today I've got with me Aaron Steinbaugh. He's a recent Eagle Scout. He's one of those 3. And Mr. Carter Shelton. He's a Life Scout. He's one of the 6 that I mentioned earlier. He's got his sights set on the Eagle, and I'm not going to let him forget it. So let me tell you a little bit about what we do. Raise your hand if you've been in Boy Scouts or Cub Scouts or Scouting. Okay, so you've got a general idea. Most folks think that we take boys camping, and we do. We do a lot of camping. We do service projects. We work on merit badges. Bill's is one of the easiest merit badges to get scouts to take. I just tell them 2 words. I tell them, Bill's offering the welding merit badge, and you might want to take it. 2 words, plasma torch. The boys practically run to sign up for that. Parents cringe, but the boys love it. Our job is to prepare youth to be responsible, participating citizens and leaders who are guided by the Scout Oath and Scout Law. Hopefully, Scout Oath and Scout Law is played up there. These 2 guys can say it in their sleep, but it's a serious matter with scouting. We want boys to have lots of character. We want them to be good citizens. And we spend a lot of time emphasizing physical fitness. One of the reasons why we hike them up Springer Mountain and down again. They don't look at it that way, though. They hear camping, plasma torch, having fun, building fires, spending the night out in the woods. They think it's a lot about fun. But when you get to, I guess, my age, and one of these days I hope to catch up with Bill, Tom here. Tom is our charter organization rep. Bill Davis wears about 3 hats. He's a merit badge counselor, he's an assistant scoutmaster, and he's a committee person. From our standpoint, the troop is all about giving these boys something to remember, to fall back on, to take away from the program later in life. I've had a lot of opportunity to talk to folks who used to be scouts, and they can almost always tell me 2 or 3 stories. Some of them are really good stories. They generally involve camping, beehives and wasp nests and things catching on fire. But it goes a lot deeper than that. There aren't too many organizations that start meetings with the Pledge of Allegiance. You don't have to tell a Boy Scout what the Pledge of Allegiance is. You don't have to tell a Boy Scout to stand up. It's something they take away from the program that stays with them for the rest of their lives. They go on canoe trips. They climb mountains. They spend nights in caves. They do a lot of fun stuff. They take away from that a lot of camaraderie, lifelong friendships. I'd be willing to bet that the scouts that are in here can probably name some of their friends that were scouts. I'll probably still see them. It goes back to making them good citizens. Makes them a part of the community. We spend time doing service projects for the city. The Eagle projects benefit schools, churches. I could go on and on. To become an Eagle Scout, you have to lead, develop, and plan an Eagle project that benefits the community in some way. And just about every Eagle Scout has good stories they can tell about their Eagle project. But it's stuff that sticks with them, not only in scouting, but many, many years later. Mr. Tabor, I think, he was even telling stories about his time in scouting. So that's really our job as the adult leaders, to foster that growth, to build them into better citizens, develop their character, and promote physical fitness. So, with that said, I'm going to turn it over to Aaron Steinbaugh and Carter Shelton. Which one of you guys wants to go first? All right.
Just going down the line. Just go down the line.
All right. Carter, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Kevin.
And he's my grandson, by the way. I just want to mention that.
I was gonna say that.
I'm proud.
No pressure here.
Oh, wow, okay. My name is Carter Shelton, as they just said, and yes, Bill Davis is my grandfather, and he's a great granddad, by the way. Anyway, I've been a part of scouting for just over 5 years, and as Mr. Kevin said, I'm a life scout. I'm almost to my Eagle, and scouting has taught me many things. It's given me many opportunities, challenges, and skills that will be with me, and I will be able to remember and for the rest of my life. And on my scouting adventure, there's no such thing as a perfect camp out. I mean, Mr. Kevin can attest to that. There's no such thing as a perfect camp out. Scouts are going to forget sleeping bags, stoves, underwear on a week-long camp out. And in my personal case, tent poles. I forget my tent poles. I don't know why. But what scouting has allowed me to do is take unfortunate opportunities and grow with that and learn how to be prepared. And now as one of the older scouts in the troop, one of the older life scouts, I get the opportunity to guide the younger scouts starting with the what I've learned from my mistakes that I've made. And that's just, it's a great opportunity and something to learn that I love. And scouting has meant a lot to me. Like, it has taught me to help others by being a well-rounded person, by starting at a well-rounded person, like with these merit badges that you see on the table, starting there and learning, and then with that I can help other people. And I'm just grateful that I have the part, that I can be a part of this organization to learn lifelong skills as I am on my road to Eagle. Anyway, thank you. Aaron?
Hello, I'm Aaron Steinbaugh. I got my Eagle Scout Board of Review finished December 8th of 2015. I'm relatively new when it comes to Eagle Scouts, and my project was helping Rotary Park down there plant 50 trees. And as per what Mr. Kevin was talking about, how there's always that story of the Eagle Scout and their projects. Mine is, it was during the cold snap in the beginning. It did not get above freezing during the time we planted the trees. We were walking on ice, and especially down in Georgia, it's kind of unusual. But I've come here to ask the question, or to answer rather, what scouting does. And scouting, simply put, transforms kids into the higher members of society. And I mean higher as in they're put to a higher expectation. They are put there on the higher level, not because they want to, but because everyone around them expects them to be. And that in itself will raise kids to become men. And it's just such a good thing for just the kids in general. They don't realize it. They see the fun things. They see the plasma torch. They see hiking. They see fishing. They see all of these wonderful things just to go out and have fun and mess around with their friends. But later on in life, they'll look back and they'll see how many campouts they've been on and how that changed them, like their entire life. I've been a scout, Cub Scout, since I was 6, back in 2005, and I'm still in scouting. It's been fun. It really has. And that is it.
I want to add something before Tom gets up. If y'all remember, we had the idea, or Steve Fitz kind of give him credit for leading the charge, but we got these trees, and I thought we were going to get just a few trees. And the Forestry Service gave us 50. They do them in batches of 50. So then we said, we had too much good fortune. Well, Aaron came to the rescue, and about the right time, he needed the Eagle Project. So the pictures you see on the table, look at the results of his work. A lot of the trees survived, not all of them, not all 50, but a lot of them survived, and they're getting pretty big. Some of them are like that big by now. So Aaron did a great job. I just wanted you to know that's a Rotary, Troop 96 tie-in there. Appreciate them. And they've also done some cleaning projects down there. Duck boxes. Twice, yeah, duck boxes. Yeah, and some duck boxes down there too. That's right. So Rotary and Troop 96 got a lot of commonality. Thank y'all for listening, boys. We're proud of them. All right, John, ready?
Like I said, we've been fortunate enough to work with the Rotary Club for many years now, and we appreciate the projects you've given us and the guys that done them. I know there's been at least 3 Eagle projects that you've been involved in. One thing that I want to say is I don't know any other organization, any sport that prepares guys like this to be leaders. And you can play ball and still be a Boy Scout. And if you're in the Boy Scouts for 2 years, you'll learn stuff that you'll know the rest of your life that other people don't know. And you can probably, with a little prompting, get up and say the Scout laws and Scout oath when you're 70 years old. And but what I want to thank you for is the last couple of years, or 3 years, or maybe more than that, you've donated to Troop 96. Now, a pretty substantial amount. Now, the money that y'all support Troop 96 is what we call scholarship money. With 45 boys, say, on the average, we've got parents there that have got 3, we've got one that's got 3 kids, 3 boys in the Boy Scouts. You can't become an Eagle Scout. I mean, you can, but it's virtually impossible unless you go to summer camp. Now, summer camp is what? $280. So you multiply that by 3, and you see how much a family has to come up with to send all 3 boys at one time, or single mothers. Some of them can't come up with that kind of money. So the money, every penny, to my knowledge, that you have given us goes to help the boys. It doesn't go to keep up equipment, to go on trips and stuff. Well, it could go on trips, depending on what the trip was, if it was good enough, and the people didn't, and the boys and the parents didn't have enough money to go sleep on the Yorktown aircraft carrier like they did last year. So that all of that money, we hold it aside. We spent almost $1,000 last year helping parents send their boys to Boy Scout camp. So we appreciate the money and that you've given us over the years, and anybody else that wants to tell me on the side, you know, if you need some more money, call me. Thank you.
Y'all have any questions for these boys? We haven't quite run out of time. That doesn't mean we got to fill it up. But if you have any questions for Kevin Hall, the Scoutmaster, or Tom, or these boys, we got a couple of minutes. They probably, you may not want to get them started. They've got horror stories. I mean, you know that some of these trips.
I've got lots of stories.
Yeah, I mean, things go wrong. Like Carter said, I hadn't thought of it that way, but some of the most growth we have is when things go haywire, like river flooding down the Swanee River.
You'll tell them about that. That will take but about a minute. But
Yeah.
that was unbelievable.
Let me tell them about Forrest after you tell them about
Forrest, yeah. Okay, yeah, Forrest is a good story about growth. It's been down the Swanee River 3 years running, but we skipped this last year. We've been burned so many times, but it seems like every time we go, it's just a deluge. So we got down there the first day, we were floating along the river, everything was fine. Got to the point where we were going to power all the canoes up, tied them all up, you know, good, tied them really good and safe and all that stuff. That night, this huge rain happened upstream. It rained where we were too, but the important thing was it rained upstream. Well, that night, the river rose 8 or 10 feet or something. We kind of went down there and guessed at it from where we put our stuff. So some of the canoes got trapped under the dock. The other ones were flooded, just sitting out there, tied with ropes, sunk. And some of the paddles were gone, like that. Anyway, the boys had to go down there and sink the canoes that were under the dock. They had to crawl under there, you know, at 8 or 10 feet of water, and sink them so they could get them to quit floating, and, you know, get them out. So they all went down there, took their shirts off and jumped in and took care of it. Before we even got down there, they'd already handled it. So anyway, this is the kind of thing that Boy Scouts will do to some guys. They just take charge and go with it.
I'll tell you about Forrest. Forrest is my favorite story this year, and he knows I'm telling it. So I tell the boys that we don't go on picnics. We go camping whether it's raining, it's snowing, it's windy, it's cold, it's hot. We're going to go. We're not going to go if there's an ice storm. We're not going to go if there are tornadoes. But if it's just bad weather, we're probably still going to go. Well, they decided they wanted to again go back to Springer Mountain and backpack up Springer Mountain. It's a really stiff climb. It's the approach trail to the Appalachian Trail. It's only 8 miles, but it's all up. Forrest had been backpacking before, and the time that he went on before was over at Pine Mountain, and he managed to finish the first day, but he threw up in his tent that night. He learned a lesson though. But we climbed Springer, and about mile marker 4 or so, Forrest leaned over the tree and threw up. I said, "Forrest, you feeling okay?" He said, "Yes, sir. We just stopped at Waffle House on the way up here." "Well, what'd you have, Forrest?" "Well, I had bacon and eggs and sausage and waffles," and he had a big breakfast. He thought that'd be a good idea. He'd also had braces put on the day before, and he had a loose wire on the back of his mouth. He'd asked me for a pair of wire cutters, and that's not something I typically bring on a backpacking trip. Hiked a few more miles, and Forrest was not feeling so good. He threw up again. And we started climbing. The final approach to Springer is a set of switchbacks. And Forrest must have stopped and threw up about a dozen times climbing up that mountain. Now, this is the last week of February, and there's snow on the ground. He's not feeling so hot, but we're feeding him water, and he's managed to get on his feet, and he keeps climbing. We get to the top of the mountain, and there's a shelter. If you've been to the top of Springer Mountain, you know there's a shelter there for the hikers. It's not very big. That table probably wouldn't fit in it, but Forrest climbed into the shelter and got into his sleeping bag, and I told him I'd fix him something warm to get on his stomach, and I got him some soup and got it nice and hot and took it to him, and he was in there and said, "Mr. Kevin, I threw up again." He was in his sleeping bag. Well, tell me, Forrest, you didn't throw up in your sleeping bag. He says, "No, sir, I remembered. I brought a plastic bag." He had a plastic bag. I'm starting to feel really bad for this boy. And I said, "Forrest, you doing okay otherwise?" I said, you need something to eat. And so I gave him the soup, and I came back in a few minutes and checked on him. I said, "Forrest, did you get something to eat?" He said, "I ate about half of it, but I lost a tooth." I said, "Forrest, no." And that wire is fixed now. It broke off. So Forrest made it. He made it through that night. The next day he was doing a lot better. We got some food on him, got made sure he was hydrated. Forrest made it back down the mountain. But here's my story that I love to tell, that we don't go on picnics. We go on adventures. Forrest will never forget, and neither will anybody else that hiked with him that day, that trip, and somebody asked me about character. How do we build character? Well, trips like that build character. Forrest will never be the same after that trip, and neither will any of the boys that went with him, because they saw him lay down on the side of the trail and throw up, and then get back on his feet and get to the top of that mountain. So that's my favorite story.
When I went to the scout meeting the next night, of course, I didn't go on this trip. I'm getting too old to be climbing straight up. And first thing he said was, when I saw him, he said, "Mr. Tom, I threw up 23 times."
I asked Forrest at the planning meeting in June, 4 months later, do we want to do Springer again? He says, "Yes, sir, but let's do it in March instead of February."
During the Pine Mountain trip, I had to take his tent poles, and 20 pounds of food off of him during a 20-mile hike. I look into his backpack, and I take out a 5-pound bag of rice with water in it. And I look at him, and he's completely dead serious. "Forrest, why is there wet rice in here?" "I thought I'd save space by putting the water in first."
We learned a valuable lesson.
We learned a very valuable lesson.
So I take it you hadn't had the cooking merit badge yet?
Yeah, no.
We're working on that and backpacking.
Well, we appreciate y'all coming and telling us about the troop and about scouting. I was looking over this while they were talking. There's 136 things on here. Bill, you got somebody that teaches every one of these?
No, that's what we're looking for.
I was looking around, and just from what I know about the people in this room, we've got a lot of these skills. I even have a couple of them myself. And I got some people at the police department that are much more expert in some of these. We'd be happy to help with that. So let's give them another round.